Networking and marketing made simple is for you, the business owner who has a product, a service, or a message that you believe in. My name is Scott Aaron, and each week we'll take a behind-the-scenes look into the real-world marketing and networking tactics and strategies for getting what you have in front of you to a lot more people. Thanks for spending time with me, and now let's get started. Hey, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Networking and Marketing Made Simple. Super excited about today's episode. As you saw in the description of this episode, it's not all too often that you get to have a highly successful network marketing professional on here that not only has achieved a seven-figure cumulative business, but a seven-figure a year business. And just so everyone knows, there's a big difference. So you see people in network marketing companies where they're considered quote unquote $1 million earners. And that can mean one of two things. It most commonly means that they've accrued and accumulated $1 million over the lifetime that they've been in the company. If they've been in the company for 10 years, they earned $100,000 a year. Year 10, they become $1 million quote unquote earner. Well, Miriam's a little bit different. Miriam actually hit that, but also now earns seven figures a year. So we connected actually via someone on her team. They reached out to me and thought that she would be a great fit. Number one, just because she's in the network marketing sphere, top leader and coach. But also, she also shares a passion that I do, which is writing. And she released her first book, and it's all about helping network marketers become better business builders, better leaders, better at sales, better at leading their teams. And I reached back out to her, and we also share something else in common. We're both in New Jersey, so we're keeping it East Coast style on today's episode. And I'm just really excited for her to share the story of not how she's achieving the success right now, but how those foundational and infrastructure pieces that she put into place 10 years ago when she'd say yes to her opportunity that has led her to where she is today. So Miriam, welcome to today's episode.
Hi, thanks so much for having me.
Well, truly grateful to have you here. So just so, you know, we kick this off the right way. For people that are not familiar with you and, you know, what you do and how you help people, number one, you know, just tell the audience a little bit about you. But number two, and what they love knowing most, what was your pivotal moment, that moment in time that led you to say yes to your opportunity 10 years ago that has brought you to where we are today on the podcast?
Sounds good. Hey, everybody. Okay, so it was almost 10 years ago that I said yes to kind of a friend acquaintance of mine that we were connected to on social media. And she had started her network marketing business and thought of me. And at the time, I was working in New York City. I was a managing director at one of the largest real estate companies in New York. Fast forward, rewind 5 years prior, I had been a professional dancer in New York City, and I was trying to make it. And I was living that starving artist lifestyle and was kind of doing real estate on the side. Got thrown into the corporate world because my darling husband decided to go to law school, which I thought was such a good idea. Yes, I'm going to be married to a lawyer. I can, do whatever I want to do and not have to worry. And then the economy crashed. His law school loans started pouring in, and it was kind of up to me to get us the health insurance and all that. So I move into corporate. I actually love it. I find that I love helping people build their businesses. And that's kind of what I started to do as a manager of this real estate office. But then I had my first child and everything changed. And I was a product of immigrant parents. And I was raised by my nanny. And my parents worked in New York City for my whole life. And I kind of had that moment of, I don't want history to repeat. I want to work, but I want to work around my kids. I want to have that dream life. I want to have it all. It has to be there. And this wasn't it. And I remember looking at my boss and thinking, I don't want his job. And isn't that the whole point of working, is to continue to move up and strive to do better so you can sort of move up. And I just wasn't really enjoying the hamster wheel. So she reaches out to me. I say, heck no, I don't want to sell to my family and friends. But my friend was very good at following up, and she just kept following up. And I gave the opportunity to my husband to look over, and he's like, just try it. You know, we have nothing to lose. And we were really hit with a lot of loans and debt. So I needed the money, even though on paper people thought we were doing really well, right? So I jump in, and it was hard. I was not very good at this business at all. And I was not coachable. I was trying to do my own thing. They told me what to do, and I was trying to do everything that they, you know how it is. I was like, I know a better way. And that wasn't working. So do you want me to keep going with the story? Okay. So I am one of those, no one is joining my team. I can barely, get anybody to buy the product, but I start reading and I go, if other people are finding success, if my sponsor is finding success and people around me in the company are finding success, and I knew I had an amazing product that I loved, it's gotta be me. I have to look inside. And so I decided to really become an expert. And I bought any book I could find, and I just sacrificed all my TV time. My social life was out the window anyway. I had a newborn, and I started to become an expert in the industry. And I realized that it wasn't about the sale. It was about making the connection with the people. And that I had to dream really big from that moment and sort of have the end in mind. And I had these images of, I'm going to build this team, and I'm going to be this leader that people, I'm not going to make people feel like I'm their boss or their manager. And I imagined this thing, and I just kept pushing that vision through. And so I started to get people to join my team, and it was amazing. And then guess what? Everyone was quitting. I couldn't get people to stick. And it took over a year, I would say, to finally get some traction. So that's lesson number one, you guys. It takes time, and people, not everyone's going to stick with it, and not everyone's going to join you. But I kept going. And somebody once said to me, and this is probably the turning point in my business, your success will not be how you treat your yeses. It's how you treat your nos.
So I just want to kind of cut in there really quickly, because you touched on two really, really important things. And my listeners are probably just nodding their heads right now in their cars or wherever they're listening to this, because number one, the mistake, and I now call it a mistake because it is, the mistake that a lot of network marketers are being taught is to just go after the sale. Screw the relationship, just spray and pray, put it in front of as many people as possible, and hopefully someone will fall through the cracks. What led to my success in network marketing when I did it is the same thing that led to your success. And while you're still doing it, is the relationship and the quality of the connection that you actually build with that individual. Because the way that you do things is the way that they're going to do things. So if they see that you are leading with the connection and the relationship and the trust and the rapport, guess what they're going to do? They're going to lead with the connection and the trust and the rapport. And if you're doing the opposite, if you're just going after the sales and you have these people that are hunters and not farmers, you're never going to have a harvest to reap. The second thing that you said was actually right along lines of one of my favorite books called Go for No. It's by Andrea Waltz
Love
and
that
Richard
book.
Fenton. Not the network marketing one with Ray Higdon, which is also very good. But I'm talking about the old school original one. Andrea and
I
I
read
have.
that one. That was one of my, I think my number 5th read.
Yep. So Andrea and I have developed a very good friendship over the last 2 or 3 years. She's come on my podcast, and on the cover, it says everything. It says, yes is the destination, but no is how you're going to get there. So people, like you said, they're falling in love with the wrong word. They're falling in love with yes, but the fact is in network marketing, you hear 100 times more no's than you will yes. So if you're falling in love with something that you don't hear as often, but you start falling in love with something that you do hear often, then the yeses start to show up, because behind every no is an awaiting yes. And I think that's the big mindset shift that a lot of network marketers need to make. They think, oh, this person's going to be perfect for my business. I'm going to reach out to them. I'm going to hand this to them on a silver platter, and they're going to say yes, and they're going to skyrocket to the top of the company, which it couldn't be further from the truth, because you have to go through the law of numbers. You want to conceptually visualize it as bobbing for apples. And you're sorting all these apples. You're throwing away the rotten ones. You get a good red shiny one. But inside there, at some point, is that golden apple, that person that just gets it. They see it. They run with it. So you don't have to run an adult daycare center, because now they're a leader just like you, running to the top.
Right.
So with those big things that you understood, understanding the power of human connection, but the power of falling in love with the word no, how did those two things conceptually catapult you after year one into where you are now?
So I think at the time I remember, kicking and screaming and going, why isn't it happening for me? I want it so bad. But what those no's did, a lot of those no's and the people that quit were give me grit, which you really need in this business, which is, how long you wait after you get that no to go back again. I remember hearing that once too. I forget who said it. And it's like, sometimes you get that no and go, I'm going to take a week off and get back at it. No, I'm going to keep going. And I'm going to find out why it's a no, because it's probably not me, and it's probably not the opportunity. The timing just isn't right. So you have to figure out why it's a no. And then when something happens to you or in the company or to them, and you're following and you're connecting with them, that's when you reach out again and say, hey, I know I saw that this happened. I saw you had this life change. I really think you should look at this again. Not trying to be annoying, but I really just think this could be something for you. And speaking to people like I really believe in them and the business in a way that makes them feel like, wow, she's so excited about it. And she's not excited about it for herself. It's more for me. And so making it about other people is really important. So for my business, I was able to coach my team when they were coming in with my story, which had a lot of no's in it. And so people actually love hearing the stories of the no's and the bad stuff. We all love it. We love that story, rather than the person that had crazy success when they first joined. So when I'm doing my team trainings, a lot of times I'm sharing those stories of hardship, rather than the star who had just got lucky. You guys, if people find those aces, my sponsor, I was her first recruit. It just happened to be, she found her aces in the beginning. For me, it took a lot of time. So you got to keep going with this business, because you never know who that person's going to be. And the other thing I want to say is that because I had so many conversations with people on my team, I really made it a point to say, once I do have people on my team, I'm going to treat everybody equal, no matter where they are in the organization, until there's so many people that I just can't do it anymore. So I really grew my business on the phone. And everything changed for me when I sort of got off email and text. And I would just say, I'm just going to call 2 people every day for my team and just say hello and build that relationship. And that is that aha moment that I want to share with all of you. If you are sitting there just texting your team and just posting and not connecting, people are doing this business most of the time as almost as a volunteer army. Most people do this business. Yes, there are going to be those big, you know, people that are like, oh, I want to make this a full-time career. But most people don't do that. Most people join this business because they're missing something. They don't know what. Maybe it's that little extra income. It's usually recognition and appreciation. That's what people want. Most people aren't getting that in their job. Most people, if you work in a hospital, you work in corporate, there's many times people aren't going, good job today. I'm so proud of you. That's your job in this business. That's how you're going to get people to stick. And so my motto has been, people join for the opportunity, but I want them to stay for the community. And that's what they do. And so when you change your mindset to, I want people to enjoy this, I'm going to make this an enjoyable journey for people, and we're going to have fun getting those no's, people will tend to stick longer. And in network marketing, it's not about finding 3 or 4 people that are going to do $10,000 in sales. It's getting a lot of people to just do a little bit more. And that's how you really build that volume. And making sure that you're creating an even playing field and treating everyone on your team the same, whether or not they're bringing in $300 a month or $3,000 a month. And when people feel that love from you, they work harder. And the money's almost secondary. The money's like, oh my gosh, and I just got an awesome paycheck. So,
it's also one of those things where the quality people lead to the quantity. You can't always lead the masses. So you have to lead the few that lead the few that lead the few that lead the few, and then compound it over time. That's when you're going to see the growth that you do. I grew a team of 5,000 people in about 4.5 years. I didn't enroll those 5,000 people. It was me and the army that I built. And it was 6 or 7 quality people that found 6 or 7 quality people that found 6 or 7. And it just compounded like that. And that's the big thing, is that, everyone does what you do and they don't do what you don't do. So if there's something not working in your business, but then there's something that is working, that's something that you want to pass down. So share with the audience, in your opinion, what's the biggest mistake that you made early on that you learned so greatly from, that has helped you when you're building your organization, that you share what that mistake was with them that they never do, that really helps them get a quicker start to really achieving the success that they want?
Yes. Okay. Great question. It's funny. I think that what holds people back the most in this business is the judgment from their mom or their husband or their neighbor or their best friend. And it's this really strange thing how 1 or 2 people can hold you back from this greatness because you're not sure what they might think of you. And so I remember being so upset that my best friend didn't buy products from me right away. And also being really upset because my mom, said something like, oh, well, you're doing one of those pyramid things. And my mom's Russian. And it's just funny. Every time someone said those words in the beginning, I was like, oh my God, they're judging me. And that's just what they were calling it. They didn't even know what to call it. And meanwhile, my friend, ended up being an amazing person in my business. And it was when I finally did this personal development of, instead of being upset with them, I'm just going to be really good to them. And I started talking about my business just like they spoke about their jobs. I felt like I was always really supportive to my good friends and my family about everything they were doing. But when they wouldn't ask me about me, I know you guys know what I'm talking about. When people don't ask you about your business, you feel judged and you feel like unsupported, and then you don't bring it up. And then I just I think I read a book once again, and I got to get over the fear. And I just started talking about my business just like it was my job. And then all of a sudden it became a part of me. And I took the elephant out of the room with those people. And I share that with my team a lot to say, don't get so upset at those negative people because they're not even trying to be negative half the time. It's something that's in your head and perceived because of something they didn't ask you. So you just got to say, oh my God, I was listening to this amazing training call for my team and I learned X, Y, and Z. And just you start sharing with them all the great tidbits you learn. And all of a sudden it becomes comfortable. And then maybe they even end up buying the product or asking you more about the business. So just normalizing what you do and sharing it just as if you would share about, something that's going on with your family or your kid or your favorite restaurant, and just making it normal and not uncomfortable.
So like you, we both got introduced to network marketing around the same time. I got introduced in 2013, about 8 years ago. You were probably a year and a half before then, 2011, 2012.
May 2011. Yep.
And I was May 2013. So 2 years later. So my question to you is this: looking back to 2011 and now seeing where we are in 2021, for that newer network marketer that's getting into the profession 10 years after you and I did, what would you say is more difficult for them to do right now? But in the same notion, what is easier for people to do now that they couldn't do 10 years ago?
Great question. So I would say for sure people have definitely gotten more into texting and watching and scrolling over, maybe listening, answering the phone, going to events, going to something, especially during this time. People aren't, as much getting face to face with people. And if I had someone that was local to me in New York City, I would definitely say, let's meet for lunch, let's meet for a drink, let's meet for dinner, and chat and catch up. So I think that is a struggle, but my advice to people is be that person that does pick up the phone. Just call people. No one calls anybody anymore. Everyone's like, we need to chat. We should schedule a time to talk, and then it doesn't ever happen. And then you end up just having the conversation over text or maybe even over the voice text. Just pick up the phone and call people and check in on them and say, I just want to say hi, how are you? What's going on? How's everything going with you guys? And then listen and then share what you're so excited about. And don't ask for the sale, and don't even try to recruit them. Just let people know and just go above and beyond what everyone else is doing to build that relationship, because many times it's, how can I help you? Oh, how can you help me? A lot of times it's just that back and forth conversation. And it's funny, I've gotten so many referrals from sometimes the same people who just understand, but if I didn't explain what I was looking for and had that conversation with them, hey, I'm looking for referrals. This is what I'm looking for. If you come across anyone that's like this, or an entrepreneur, or looking for this, they would never know to send them to me. And we toss around that word referral all the time, and people are, no one's ever referring people to me. Well, are you sharing what you want people to do for you? And are you giving? Right? I'm always, when I was in really big building mode, I still am. I was always, how can I help 3 people today? Who's doing, on Facebook? Who's posting about some fundraiser? I'm putting $10 in. I'm constantly, if someone's grandmother died, I'm not just liking it or putting a comment, so sorry for your loss. I'm going to take the extra step, right? And maybe I'm going to send them a message. I'm going to send do you know how many cards I've sent over the years to people that I really didn't even know because they had a loss? Hey, send me your address, or I'd find it and send them a card in the mail. What did it cost me? A couple bucks. Do you know how many messages I got after that over the years, and that the connections I made just because I went above and beyond and did something nice? I didn't ask for the sale, but guess what? when I'm posting about something, or they're the ones liking it. They're reaching back out to me and sending me a referral, or sometimes even supporting my business in one way or another. But I didn't do it for that reason. I just knew if the more goodness I put out into the world, the better place it's going to be. And if I can uplift somebody, or I can help somebody in some way, then maybe when I need it, there's going to be people there for me too. Because the world can be a very lonely place and when the more you give, the more you get. And I always ask people when they're like, no one's liking my post, or no one does this for me. Well, what good are you doing for others right now?
And I think that's so important. I always tell people, be a salmon in a world of fish. You know, go the opposite direction, go against the grain, go upstream. Don't go in the same direction that everybody is going, expecting a different result. If you're doing the same thing that everyone is doing, you're going to get that predictable same result. But if you turn around and go the other way and you do something different, you're going to get a different result. Change nothing and nothing changes. But when you change something, something will change. Now, before we start to wind down, what would you say is your best piece of advice to that person that is starting from scratch, day one? They don't want to prospect their friends and family, which you and I both agree should never be touched. What advice would you give that person about where they should begin if they're really unclear of their why? They're unclear of what they want to achieve. They're unclear of the path that they should take. What's a simple piece of advice that you can give that person that's listening to that is in that same position today?
I would say however much it cost you to get into your business, add 3 zeros on the back of that. And imagine that's the number you spent to start your business. How would you talk about your business then? How would you market your business then? Right? What kind of you would give your business a lot more credibility than when you're talking about it. I don't know, I just started this thing. I'm kind of new, but we'll see what happens. That's not how you would talk about your business if you just spent, I don't know, $300,000, right? Buying a franchise or something. And so, but I do want to say something. You said, leave your friends and family alone. And I agree with that. But I do think it's important to let them know that you're starting a business, right? And also you can go and say, don't worry, I'm not going to try and recruit you. I'm not going to try to sell it to you. I'm just really excited about it and I wanted to share it with you. And going that referral approach, I always think is so great with your warm network. But always bringing it back to why you're excited and treating the business as if it was, a $500,000 business already, which means you might have to invest in, if you don't know how to make really nice graphics, have someone teach you and go and become an expert right away too. Read those books, read the books on the industry. Read the books on network marketing, read the books about leadership, have the end in mind. If you do want to grow a big business and you want to create a full-time income, a leveraged income, you have to build a team. If you want to make really great part-time income, you can just sell product, and that so many people do that. And I think that's amazing. I wanted bigger things. And I love that I get to help other people build businesses. That's so much fun for me. That's what I wanted. And so become an expert in your business and treat it like it's a $500,000 business from day one. And then maybe one day it will become that to you. And that's why I wrote my book, honestly, because there was no one's really written a book about this. My book's called The Secrets of Dating Your Business. And it's all about how to fall in love with your business and grow relationships. The relationship with yourself, building up that confidence, is the most important piece of the first puzzle. And then how to build those relationships with your leads, your prospects, your customers. And then it moves into how to build that team culture and lead by example and lead with humility and vision and and build something that you fall in love with and that others can fall in love with too. And I have a lot of fun stories about dating my husband, and I have really fun kind of anecdotes to the dating game and marriage and things like that. It's such a fun read. I think it'll help so many people, whether you're just starting your business to you are already in a leadership role. And even for people who are not network marketing, who do lead a team, and want to create a winning culture and they just don't know how to do it, this book will help you get there. So I'm so excited about it.
Well, that was the perfect segue because I was actually going to ask you to talk about it and you already did. So that's beautiful. But I do have two final questions.
Okay.
Number one, for those that are interested in purchasing the book, obviously I'm going to put the direct link of where they can get the book in the description of this episode. But if someone wants to learn more about you, the systems that you have in place, your opportunity, the book, social media, how can people best connect with you?
Yeah, you can. I have a website, miriamsteketee.com. You can find me on Facebook, Miriam Steketee. My actual Facebook's Miriam Kushner Steketee. And then my Instagram is Mimi Stek. And my LinkedIn's Miriam Steketee. So you just Google me. You can find me on all the social channels. Reach out, say hello. Love to help. Love this industry. Love sharing about the right way to build that makes you feel good inside.
I love that. And for the listeners, all of those social links, websites, and how to connect with Miriam will be in the show notes. So you don't have to look too far. They are right there. And Miriam, final question before we end today's episode. What does success truly mean to you?
Ooh. Success to me means being able to plan your day and not live for your weekends. And my favorite day of the week is Monday. I love my Mondays. And I just remember my parents dreading, that so many people in corporate and in their jobs have those Sunday blues. And I did not want to have those anymore. And so I think success is being able to plan your day, loving what you do, finding fulfillment in what you do, and being able to be present when you need to be present. So my team name is called Team Dream Life, and it's just about building your dream life and whatever that looks like. And it looks different for so many different people, but not having to escape your Monday through Friday, right? It is success.
Yeah, I could not agree more. My wife and I love Mondays because it's a new week ahead where we can achieve new things and greater things and push the needle forward. So it is about that mindset shift of not dreading Mondays, but honoring and appreciate every single day that's being given to you to make those significant changes in your life. So Miriam, again, I just wanted to thank you so much for coming on to the episode today. I know my listeners are going to get so much value from it. Really grateful for your time, grateful for you, and grateful for all of the amazing knowledge that you shared today. So thank you again for being here.
Thank you so much for having me.
So again, listeners, all of the information about Miriam's book and all the ways to connect with her will be in the description of this episode. Please check her out. She is a servant leader. She doesn't help people just within the organization that she's a part of. She wants to help the profession. And that is the mark of a true leader. So everyone, please enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll talk to you next time. Bye, everybody. Thank you so much again for checking out today's episode. And if you are listening through iTunes, Spotify, wherever you are, please leave me a rating and review. Let me know what you loved, what you would like to see improved, or ideas you have for future episodes. And if you are interested in taking your business to the next level, don't hesitate to go to my website, www.scottaaron.net, where you can schedule a free discovery call with me, where I can learn more about you, your business, what you're struggling with and how we can work together. And don't forget to check out my wife, Nancy, and mine, our free community on Facebook called LinkedIn Leads for Life. We would love to see you in there. Have a great rest of your day. And thank you everyone for your support. Grateful for each and every one of you.